Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about the NWSL, women's soccer, just soccer, only soccer. In this video/podcast, I'll be talking about more abuse allegations in the Portland Thorns because, of course. And here I was getting ready for the She Believes Cup, Arnold Clark Cup, and whatever Germany is doing. At this point, I feel like we need to throw out the whole Thorns front office and some of the training staff and just start over because, honestly, what is going on at the Portland Thorns? Starting off with the first story. In early November 2022, Portland Thorns leadership reported to the NWSL player concerns about an incident in which assistant coach Sophie Clough made a player feel uncomfortable by kissing her neck at the team's championship celebration in Washington, D.C. The league engaged a third-party attorney to investigate allegations of this inappropriate and unwanted physical contact with a player. During the investigation, claims of bullying behavior by Clough were also raised. Following a thorough investigation, it was found that the claims of unwanted contact were substantiated in violation of league policy. Regarding the claims of bullying behavior, the third-party investigator found that the reports were unsubstantiated and Clough did not exceed the bounds of appropriate coaching. So last year, I think around December, I did a video covering a story about former Thorns head coach Rhian Wilkinson resigning due to having an inappropriate relationship with Emily Menges. I find it absolutely crazy that this incident, Sophie Clough kissing a player's neck, happened around that same time frame of Rhian Wilkinson and Emily Menges' relationship. I say relationship in quotations. Just throwing my thoughts out there, feel free to disagree, but I'm wondering if Clough thought it was okay to do that because of Wilkinson and Menges. The players knew about Wilkinson and Menges, so did the staff in front office. Did you think it was okay to do that because of Wilkinson and Menges? Did you think you would get a pass too because the front office was seemingly okay with the relationship between Wilkinson and Menges? I wonder if that's what Sophie Clough was thinking, because how do you think you're going to get away with that? How do you not think nor realize that's an inappropriate thing to do? Just what was going through her head? It was just bold of her to assume she could do that and think she can get away with it. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Now let's move on to the next story. All right, so the next story. Additionally, in late November 2022, Dr. Rhian Brown, the Thorns team physician, reported concerns to the team's general manager about player safety following events that took place during the 2022 NWSL playoffs, which were in turn reported by Portland Thorns leadership to the league. The league engaged a third-party attorney to investigate these allegations. Dr. Brown reported that Portland Thorns athletic trainer Pierre Soubrier, sorry if I mispronounced that, told her he had given two players a medication that contained codeine at the Thorns October 22nd, 2022 semifinal. Codeine is a controlled substance that requires a prescription and should only be administered by a physician. Dr. Brown also self-reported concerns about her own conduct related to the administration of controlled substances. Due to the imminent risk to player health and safety, the league placed Soubrier on paid administrative leave effective December 7, 2022, pending the outcome of the league's investigation by a third-party attorney. The investigator found that the concerns about Soubrier were substantiated. Soubrier was found to have administered the controlled substance to the players on multiple occasions without a prescription and physician supervision, which is a violation of federal and state laws and league policy. Further, Soubrier administered the medication to one of the players without her informed consent. As self-reported by Dr. Brown, the investigator confirmed that On one occasion, Dr. Brown provided Soubrier, upon his request, with access to a controlled substance to give to a Thorns player if needed. However, Dr. Brown became uncomfortable with this decision and promptly communicated to Soubrier that it should not be administered. The medication was not administered and was retrieved by Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown did not violate any federal or state law or league policy. I also want to add, before I go any further, that Pierre Soubrier is the husband of Thorns and U.S. Women's National Team defender Crystal Dunn. I actually found that out later. So let's first talk about codeine. Codeine is an opioid. It can treat pain and cough, but as the statement read, you need a prescription from a physician to get it. According to medlineplus.gov, link in the description below, codeine may be habit-forming. That was the first line that came up when I read that article. Some other information about codeine. Taking certain medications during your treatment with codeine may increase the risk that you will experience breathing problems or other serious life-threatening breathing problems, sedation, or coma. It went on to list the different medications that you should discuss with a doctor before taking codeine. And then these two warnings. Drinking alcohol or using street drugs during your treatment with codeine also increases the risk that you will experience these serious life-threatening side effects. Do not drink alcohol, take prescriptions or non-prescription medications that contain alcohol or use street drugs during your treatment. Tell your doctor if you are pregnant or plan to become pregnant. If you take codeine regularly during your pregnancy, your baby may experience life-threatening withdrawal symptoms after birth. Tell your baby's doctor right away if your baby experiences any of the following symptoms: irritability, hyperactivity, abnormal sleep, high-pitched cry, uncontrollable shaking of a part of the body, vomiting, diarrhea, or failure to gain weight. With that in mind, let's go back to Pierre Soubrier. This guy was giving a controlled substance to players on multiple occasions. Where was he getting this medication? If Dr. Brown told him not to administer it and took it back, where was Soubrier getting that medication in the first place? If this happened on multiple occasions, like the statement said, who was supplying him with that medication? How was he able to access it beforehand? Seriously, who was giving it to him? I think an investigation needs to happen into who was supplying Soubrier with that medication, a medication that needs a doctor's prescription and could be dangerous. The worst thing about this is Soubrier administering this medication to a player without her informed consent. Given the potential risks and dangers of codeine, this could have turned out badly for that player and for those other players. They might not have known there was codeine in the medication that they were given. They might not have realized what they were taking. They might not even know what codeine is. Hell, even I had to look up codeine. I knew you could take it for pain and cough, but at the same time, I didn't know about the potential risk and side effects. Going back to the story at hand, what were Soubrier's reasons for giving these players that medication, especially if you need a physician's prescription to take it? If the players were really sick or in a lot of pain, why couldn't Soubrier send them to see Dr. Brown or their own personal physician so that they can get a prescription for it, and Dr. Brown / their personal physician can recommend dosage or other options if they can't take that certain medication? I just have so many questions. What were his reasons for giving out that medication, and who was supplying him with that medication? For now, I'm just going to leave it at that. The NWSL reported on punishments for these individuals, which include Dr. Rhian Brown. So for Sophie Clough, the NWSL has suspended Clough from the league without pay immediately through the conclusion of the 2023 season. The Portland Thorns has terminated her employment. Clough will be eligible for future employment in the league at the commissioner's discretion, provided that Clough participates in training related to discrimination, harassment, and bullying, demonstrates a clear commitment to correcting behavior, and acknowledges wrongdoing and accepts personal responsibility for inappropriate conduct. For Pierre Soubrier, the NWSL has suspended Soubrier from the league without pay immediately through the conclusion of the 2023 season. The league will also report Soubrier to the Oregon Board of Athletic Trainers and the Board of Certification. The Portland Thorns has terminated his employment. Subject to the ruling and requirements of the Oregon Board and BOC, Soubrier will be eligible for future employment in the league at the commissioner's discretion, provided that he acknowledges wrongdoing and accepts personal responsibility for his conduct and demonstrates a sincere commitment to correcting his behavior. For Rhian Brown, Dr. Brown will be subject to increased oversight by and regular reporting to the NWSL Chief Medical Officer for 3 months. At the conclusion of that 3-month period, NWSL Chief Medical Officer will provide an assessment to the commissioner. Dr. Brown will also be required to review the American Medical Association Code of Ethics. Honestly, I don't think Pierre Soubrier should be eligible for future employment in the league. It's good that the league reported him to the Oregon Board of Athletic Trainers and the Board of Certification. This is something he should lose his certification over. I may be harsh, but knowingly administering medication to a player without her consent is awful and wrong on so many levels. It could have put her and her teammates at risk. A lot of people were rightfully very upset, and I've even seen some people say Soubrier should go to jail over this. I don't disagree. I definitely think he needs to be investigated, same with the person who was giving him this medication. But that is up to the police department, maybe the DEA. I'm not sure if that's up their alley. I'm just guessing. Anyway, my thoughts about these two stories are really jumbled right now. Me still trying to process all this and make sense of it all. I don't know. What do you think of these stories? For now, that is all I have for you guys today or tonight, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.